Here demoing some of the use cases for Generate for SLED applications, governmental applications. So this is the Generate platform. This is the new version about to be released to the public. As you can see, it's got a great interface, very similar to what people are used to these days in terms of chat assistants. And so what we're going to focus on today is the agents, specifically agents built for city, state, local government applications. So going to the agents tab here, we'll scroll down to some of the ones I'm going to show today, and we'll show 5 quick single-step agents, as well as how to edit them. And I'll show one multi-step agent to show more of the complexity and the specific processes that are enabled with the Generate agent. So the first one, the Property Tax Assessment Assistant. You can see this automates property valuations, generate assessment reports, and manage appeals for the city's largest revenue source, property tax. Really quickly, I won't show this for everyone, but we'll go into the editing feature and we'll see how simple it is to set these up, but also how customizable it is. So here we have the agent name, the description, the instructions for the agent. So this prompt is important because it is kind of the guiding North Star for the agent as it runs. You're a property tax assessment assistant for city government. There's a ton in here I can read through. You can also add some starter prompts that make it very simple to just click one button and kick off the agent. If you want to have it do a couple different ways to start the agent, which is like generate a letter for property tax appeal. I might put that in there. Or when it's ideal. Importantly, this knowledge tab right here is really important. So you can add documents for this agent to use every single time you call it, or you can connect the database or you can actually do both. We have a bunch of different databases you can connect to. You can add pretty much any sort of document you want to give the agent context when you're talking to it. You can also add connectors. So add in your Google Calendar, Gmail, different sources of data. So Jira, Google Docs, Google Sheets, HubSpot, what have you. And we're adding a ton of these at the moment. So if there's a specific data source that you're looking for that you don't see on this page, either you can request it and we'll work on building it, or it might just come up there automatically as we release it. So I'll show a few steps for this agent or examples of how we use this. So here's an example where I prompted the agent, review this property tax appeal and draft a response letter. And so what I did is I uploaded 2 different files, one Excel spreadsheet and one letter, and I'll pull this up here really quick, at least for the first agent so you can see it. Here is the property tax sample data for different addresses of comparable properties that this person referenced in their appeal, which I'll pull up right here. So here's the appeal with the taxpayer's information, the property details, assessment, what they believe their grounds for appeal are, all the supporting evidence, which we included in this Excel spreadsheet, and there's the signature and everything. And so what Generate did is it ingested those documents, parsed them, and based on the prompt that we gave this agent, it made this appeal response for Patricia Holloway, this person who submitted an appeal. You can see it's a really detailed report. Generate does a really good job about grabbing sources of truth from the data, and it actually references them here. So there's a little citation note where the taxpayer respectfully requests that the assessed value be reduced to $305,000. And that's actually based on a document. And you can click on it to see the source, which is this initial document. And here's a response letter actually we can download and check out. And it put together a very nicely formatted response just based on the prompt they did, which again is editable, that gave an assessment review, reviewed the comparable sales, and basically said, you know what, this is a determination. This is our revised assessed value. As you can see, putting out these documents in a span of a few minutes that Generate took to run is extremely powerful for these use cases where I'm sure there's a big backlog of people wanting a response on their property tax appeal. Here's a permit and license processing agent, accelerate permit application review, generate compliance documentation, and improve first-time approval rates. So you can see here, review this permit application, identify any items, and generate a preliminary review report. So basically, Generate took in this document, and actually I'll pull this one up as well. Here's a building permit application, project information, scope of work, documents, etc., as well as the supporting data as well, which is added right here. And Generate took that and basically spit out a review report for this permit. So they need some more documentation. We need to add a plumbing connection diagram. That is apparently what Generate said they need to do based off all that data. Moving on to the next one, revenue collection and delinquency manager. So we optimize collection processes across all revenue streams, generate personalized payment plans, and reduce delinquency rates. So focused on getting more revenue for the city based off specific details in each individual case that gets submitted. It would normally take a human hours, days, weeks to do. Generate can parse that information extremely quickly and get a payment plan recommendation, as you can see here. So here's Patricia Holloway. Again, she's got a lot of things she wants to talk to the city about, I guess. She's petitioning for financial hardship. And as you can see, this report, Generate spit out, is extremely detailed, references each one of her claims, and actually added a recommendation. They said approve the hardship request with a slightly different terms than Patricia Holloway asked for. And this is the benefits. We maximize revenue recovery. Here's a grant application and management agent. So identify grant opportunities, draft applications, and manage compliance reporting to maximize intergovernmental revenue. So this is actually a draft project narratives, and this is a application that, actually I'll just pull it up here. So this is the SS4A grant, and it's an application. It's got all this detail in here, and we actually asked Generate to help suggest improvements to strengthen the grant, to give a higher percentage of this will be actually accepted. So there's an executive summary. Here's some critical strengths. We need some real improvements here. Scroll down a little bit. It was obviously a ton of information there. Basically, it says, hey, this is probably a 7.5 out of 10. We think we can get it to a 9.5 out of 10 to give a much, much higher chance that this will get approved. Business license compliance agent, identify unlicensed businesses, automate renewal reminders, and improve business license compliance rates. So I added a couple businesses in sample data here. And you can see there's a bunch of businesses here. Got the license data here, which can be thousands of rows, doesn't need to just be 13. I just did that for the sake of the demo here today, and because I didn't have any real data on me. But I found 3 high priority businesses identified. We've got a unlisted nail salon, which has no license on file, so we need to do that. We need to deal with that. Got a license expired for Blue Moon Bar, and we've got a license expired for the Sunrise Bakery and Cafe. So another example of how AI, but specifically Generate, can parse data and keep up to date with documents and Excel spreadsheets that have thousands and thousands of lines. And what would normally take people a lot of granular hours to work through, Generate can do in a matter of seconds and minutes. So basically giving some recommendations here for what to do for these businesses. Approach initial outreach and education, final notice, urgent notice, that kind of stuff. Then finally, here's an example of a multi-step agent within Generate. So these can get really, really complicated. In this one, it may seem complicated, but it's actually pretty simple despite how powerful it is. This is a general city revenue recovery pipeline. So what it takes is a few inputs here, basically a fiscal year, jurisdiction code, priority level, and account data. And based off of that, it has a bunch of agents within this big agent workflow. So this first agent here is the account intelligence analyzer. It takes the account data that we pass through there and decides what classification to put it into. Is it a hardship, settlement, collection, lien? And from there, it'll pass it to the correct agent. So say it's a lien and legal enforcement type of application, it'll pass it to the lien one. This is the lien and legal enforcement specialist. It's got another agent prompt right here. Then it has output, and finally, it'll go to the executive report agent. And so from there, it'll actually run up a full executive report. So this one actually can be a little bit more variable with the input data. And ideally, if you spend enough time, you could build an agent that combines all 5 of the other agents we showed before. And you wouldn't have to press on a different agent card. You could just put it into this big multi-step agent. But that's an example of that. And yeah, just let us know if you have any more questions. We've built hundreds of agents and we can build 100 more, and we're excited to see how we can support these government projects.